We're live stream. Take that, world.
There we go. All right. Should we play the music?
Yeah, do it. Oh my god, this is exciting. This is a debut of the music.
First time of the music being heard by the public. So hang on, let me just hit share and go.
Welcome to Earl and the Idiot, the show that gives you the answers you need to take your business to the next level. With Earl Flormata, one of Vancouver's most sought-after business and marketing consultants, author of Business Engine Optimization, consultant to over 60 successful businesses, an all-around evil marketing genius with a combined total of more than $70 million worth of sales to his credit. And some idiot. Okay, here we go.
Wow, I feel like we got to step up our game now and do a much better podcast with that kind of an intro.
There you go. That's the actual. The funny thing is, we made that damn intro before we started doing the podcast, and we only used it now. I don't even know what episode we even gave up counting episodes. I had to run upstairs, like literally, like Dad. Hey, we're in the same hat. Like, oh crap! So I ran and found my Captain America hat.
We got to go by hats.
This is the Captain America hat edition.
Yeah, we said we're going to do a podcast. We're like, well, we'll need an intro. And, oh yeah, obviously an intro. Hire my friend to do the voice, pick the music, all right, we got an intro. Let's have a podcast now. And then we don't use the intro until we're like 20 episodes deep or something.
There you go. Well, we tried fancy software last week and it blew up on us. So what are you going to do, right?
We did our best. I saw a great meme about podcasts the other day, which I thought was pretty funny and accurate. And it was like every podcaster 40 minutes into the show. And it was like, quote, let's just dive right in.
Yeah, exactly. At least I've actually looked at our average podcast, and we screw around for about the first 10 minutes or so, and then we dive in. So there you go. We dive in faster than the average podcast.
Perfect. So. There we go. We're faster than the meme. I always feel like, first of all, I just like joking around and having a good time, and I'm not getting down to business. That's sort of generally how I am. But I also feel like with the live stream, we want to give everybody a second to show up too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, especially, that and we teach that in our course, right? What was it called? Flowers before sex in the Bahamas, right? Flowers before sex. You can't just go running around to random people asking, "Hey, you want to have sex in the Bahamas?" And you get slapped, right? And then if you do get someone who says yes, you might not want to go with them. Anyway, so that being said, that's the whole thing. Like, you warm everybody up first. You go on a date, have some flowers before you ask them for sex in the Bahamas. That's usually how marketing works, right? So there you go. That's how business works. So we get the shoot it a little bit and have some fun, and then we get down to business.
Exactly. We just got to hang on. Where is it?
What are you looking up?
There we go.
Oh,
it's the flowers part Excellent. Of the show.
Flowers part. Did not know that was a part.
There you go. All right. Enough silliness. How are you doing, Earl?
I am cold in Canada.
Yeah.
I was just talking to one of the other folks who was at the Cancun conference in Mexico, and I didn't realize, like, it only took me to travel like all the way down to that part of the continent to find out that she lives down the street from me.
Oh, jeez.
And so she's like talking about, hey, the cold snap happened. I got off the plane. I got kicked in the face by the cold snap. Yo, I live down the street. I'm having the exact same cold snap. She's like, oh yeah, I totally forgot. So the world is smaller than everybody thinks. So
yeah, I know a girl from Vancouver who met her husband in China, and he's from Vancouver. Right.
Of all places. There you go.
Exactly. So, any big wins this week? Any successes? You kicking ass out there?
Successes.
Failures?
People are happy. Failures. Yeah, we could talk failures, I guess. Well, there's this. I don't know if I can say it on the podcast because it's the F word. So, because there's a group that does this thing called F Up Nights. You can fill in the rest of the blank.
Oh yeah.
And so failure-wise, I'm actually getting some new people to go speak on their stage because there have been some colossal failures in their lives that you could totally learn from. I like it just because the premise is different. It's not your typical, entrepreneur goes on stage, tells the story of how great they are. Look how big my wiener is, versus like. I like the F Up Nights because it's different. It's like, here's a life lesson that kicked me in the teeth. here's how you shouldn't get kicked in the teeth the same way. And I get much more out of the here's the mistake I made and how I bounced back versus look how great I am story, right? I learned much more from the mistakes.
I totally agree, and I think it's more real. You know what I mean? If you get up there and you're like, you take, anybody who gets up on stage to talk about, what they've done or whatever, they like to edit out the mistakes and the failures and how bad it all was. But it can leave you in the audience thinking like, well, geez, I'm out here failing and screwing it up. I can never be like this guy. He just sailed right through and everything was easy. You know what I mean?
He's friggin' Captain America.
He's Captain America.
He's do everything. Yeah. And he got the super serum, and now he can jump as high as a building. So I like the things that humanize the other entrepreneurs. That's really interesting.
Yeah,
there was a thing. Yeah,
go ahead.
There was a thing on YouTube talking about one of the biggest, most prolific YouTubers, Mr. Beast, and he talks about how he breaks down his businesses, how he breaks down the structure, how he breaks down all of the stuff, and it was just really fascinating to see all the things he went through and all the mistakes he made to become that YouTube juggernaut that he is today, right? So it's really interesting, not just seeing the success side, but the open up the kimono, look underneath the curtain. Hey, where did you screw this up? What absolute just mistakes have you done, right? And learning about those things, you get a real education around what not to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I always, the Denzel Washington movie, The Equalizer. I hated that movie because every situation he rolls into, he always executes everything perfectly. Right.
Like a robot.
And so it's like a robot. Every move he makes is the right move. He never is afraid for 1 second that he's going to screw anything up. He always knows he's on top of the game. And so there was no realism to it,
This is why I like the Daniel Craig James Bond.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen too many of those.
The shift from he's always clean, his suit is always clean, to he's covered in dirt, and he's bleeding on the sides. It's like that made it more real. You know what I mean? Like James Bond made it more real. So there you go.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up Die Hard.
Yeah,
Die Hard like awesome. He loses his shoes. He's got to walk over the broken glass, and it's hurting. Or before he's going to jump off the side of the building with the fire hose around his waist, and he's like, "This is a bad idea." Before he does it, you know what I mean? Like he's not sure it's going to work out, and that adds tension and it adds realism. So maybe that's another idea for a show. We can talk about some epic failures that really
and Die Hard should, I don't care. Change my mind. It's a damn Christmas movie. I don't care. It's a Christmas movie.
It's not Christmas till Hans Gruber falls out of the Nakatomi Plaza.
There you go. This is why we're friends.
Yeah. All right. Now, as the meme says, let's dive right in. So today's topic, I'm really worried about this because I have a background in marketing. So I'm really afraid to bring this up. The title of today's episode, everything you know about marketing is wrong.
Yeah, it's absolutely true.
I'm very disappointed to hear this because I like to think, idiot though I may be, I like to think I know some things about marketing. But that's the whole point of Earl and the Idiot. I got to humble myself and admit that maybe there are some things I don't know.
It was pretty interesting doing the research for this piece, and humbling as well. It's like, oh my gosh, everything I know about marketing is wrong too. So the reason why we start off with everything we know about marketing is wrong is because we've all been taught incorrectly. So if I'm gonna hop into the history of marketing. Okay, so in the 1800s, 1900s, marketing used to have, this is who we are, this is what we do, this is why you should choose us, right? And it actually built really good arguments as to, hey, you know what? This guy is the best horseshoe maker. This guy is the best blacksmith. This is, look at his sword. He takes his sword, takes another sword, smashes the other sword, and goes, "No, my sword's better." So, like the whole comparison type thing. This is why you should choose us. Those structures were really strong back in those days, right?
Did you ever see the ad? Did you ever see that ad for an aerodynamic car when they first came up with the idea of aerodynamic cars?
Which one? There's a couple of those. The only thing in my head right now is the Homer, right? The Homer on the car. It's like the worst thing in the universe.
I have a Homer. My girlfriend for Christmas got me, or my birthday got me Hot Wheels. They have the Homer.
Oh my gosh!
Little Hot Wheels Homer. Oh my god!
That's. I'm gonna go on Amazon and buy one. This is your fault.
Yeah, there you go. I'll send you an affiliate link. I'll get the commission.
There you go.
No, for it was one of these 18 whatever ad, like an etching that's stamped in a newspaper or whatever. And it was, there's a boxy old school car with a flat windshield, the old type. And there's the wind is sort of holding onto it. And you could see that the wind is like got its grips on this car. And then below is an aerodynamic car. And the wind's like, whoa, I can't hold on to this car. You know what I mean? And it's like, stop losing stop wasting gas. Buy our aerodynamic car. Our car has curves.
Wow. There you go. But like, so back in the day, I mean, even that has more oomph to it than the current commercial where there's some car just driving on the mountain, right? You just see some car driving on the mountain. You don't really know why you should buy this car. It looks really cool. The music is really nice. It's a pretty blue color. But you're like, there's no reason behind why we should buy this car compared to any other car on the market that doesn't say anything that no other car can do, right? So there's no differentiation between this car, that car, and any other car. And the reason is because this was built in the era of the brand builders. So I'm gonna get to that. So what happened is in it was 1945, I believe, is when TVs kind of became the norm and started like propagating. And the problem is back in the day, there were only 3 friggin' channels, right? So there's only 3 channels on the TV, right? And so if you wanted to go at a national reach for your marketing campaign, it was really easy. I think it was something like $4,000 a minute to be on TV. And the average commercial used to be 2 minutes long. And I remember these days, a 2-minute long commercial was a thing back in the day. Now all the commercials fit into 2 minutes between the break in your show, right? Yeah. And now the average commercial is only 30 seconds long. So it went from here's who we are, here's what we do, here's what makes us better, and here's a solid argument to oh crap, we only got 30 seconds, better make a jingle, better flash the logo and our colors, and hope they remember us, right? Yeah. And that's where everything about marketing is wrong. So to date, nobody alive today remembers the old ads. Everyone remembers that, okay, if we just make a jingle and a logo and make it funny and make it creative and make it interesting versus an actual advertisement, then if we take the money gun and we shoot it enough times, everyone's going to remember us, right? Because there's not as many people who can afford to be on video, right? To be on TV. And here we are doing this from our rooms, right, on Zoom for next to nothing. I think it costs $30 or $40 a month for this live streaming software. Okay. Right. And I think Zoom cost me $8. So $48, and we're publishing this to LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, To do this back in the day, to do a national campaign, you had to either do print. So that was like a magazine. You know how many magazines it would take to go nationwide? A lot, right? Or newspaper. It would take a bajillion pieces of newspaper to go nationwide and be noticed, right? So on TV, when there was only 3 friggin' channels, it was really easy, right? The problem is that the people who wanted it outstripped the amount of inventory, so the pricing just shot up, right? So only the rich could play, right? And when there's only 2 choices, like Coke or Pepsi, which one are you going to pick? Well, nobody else is relevant, and that's why Coke and Pepsi were able to buy up everybody else, because they're like, well, if we use the big marketing gun on the TV, no one can touch us. And in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, this was the whole era of the brand builders, right? That's all they needed to do, just build the brand, show it enough times. When there's only 2 of us who can afford this, we're the only 2 options. Yeah. Right? And so
you know who lost the cola wars when Pepsi were fighting in the 90s? You know who lost?
Who?
Sprite.
Yeah.
Because they actually the Coca-Cola and Pepsi didn't change at all their relative to each other share of the market.
Right.
No one came out on top, but more people started buying one of those 2 than Sprite.
Right.
Because it was Sprite a question of which cola do you want, not do you want cola Sprite at all. Oh yeah, okay.
So I guess Coke bought Sprite, and then what? 7-Up now belongs to Pepsi. So there you go. So So there you have it. So in terms of the history of marketing, like, yeah,
they were there. So it was, Yeah, it was a matter of just sort of building a brand. Oh, and not Coca-Cola has finer ingredients than Pepsi. Pepsi tried to go on taste for a little while. Remember the Pepsi Taste Challenge?
I do, and I'm a complete dick since I like Coca-Cola better, and I can tell the difference. Every single time I went on the Pepsi Taste Challenge, I just picked Coke on purpose. So like, this one's Coke, and they're like, "Oh, which one do you like better?" Well, that one. And they'd always raise the cup and go, "Oh."
Oh, but then you still get the prize. I remember that they give you a prize for going to taste it.
I still got the prize.
Apparently, I heard somewhere that they sort of did more scientific testing on it, and that when you do the Pepsi Taste Challenge, they just give you a little tiny sip of it, right?
Yes.
And Pepsi is sweeter, so people tended to like the sip more. But when you actually have an entire can of it, it's too sweet for the whole can. So if you talk about a whole can, Coke came out on top. So
right.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about cola.
So they cheated, so I cheated. There you go.
There you go.
So that's it. So history of marketing wise, nobody, like every graduate today has been only exposed to do a jingle, do a logo, make it fun, and you'll win. And if we look back at like a modern, let's look at a modern marketing campaign. You remember the Old Spice guy?
Yes.
Yeah, like I'm on a horse. That guy. I loved that campaign. I thought it was freaking amazing. Turns out it was a negative ROI.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you'd think that that was probably the best thing on the internet I've ever seen. Like, and everybody can quote "I'm on a horse," right? And everyone's like, swan dive, and everyone remembers these commercials.
The man your man could smell like.
Exactly. It's the fact that we're quoting it today. It's been years. Like people even asked him to propose on their behalf to their loved one, and he did this stuff live. I'm like, this is crazy. And I thought this was the best thing since sliced bread. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what a crazy. And the hilarity is it followed all of the brand builder type stuff. Like here's who we are. It's interesting, right? And here's some catchphrases: swan dive, I'm on a horse, the man your man could smell like. And it didn't work. And it's just like this shocked to me to my very core. I'm like, dude, that was the best. I could never beat that in a marketing thing ever. And it didn't work. What the hell happened? Turns out, again, it goes back to what is marketing supposed to do? And marketing is supposed to facilitate the buying process. If people don't like being sold, but they love buying stuff. So if your marketing educates your clientele, most people's marketing sucks. It doesn't educate nothing, right? It's terrible. Right. I was just at a meetup, and the dentist went up, and he didn't even say what his specialty was. He just had a long laundry list of stuff he does, and then rattled through the list and said, "Thank you very much." I was in tears by it, and it only lasted like 45 seconds. And it was the most boring 45 seconds of my entire life. I'm like, wow, you can do molars.
Yeah. As a marketing guy, my girlfriend gets sick of me when we're out. I'll point at an ad on a bus or something and be like, "What do you do? I don't know. Yeah, I see your ad. I have no idea what you are or why I should call you or what you do." I get so angry about it now. Now that you know to look for it and you see it everywhere, it's like, you're not telling me anything. I'm no further ahead thanks to seeing your ad.
And if you use the words quality or service, and that's it, everybody uses the same thing. We have 78,000 years of service or like experience between the lot of us. Nobody cares.
Yeah, or it's like Johnson's quality service since 1981, and then there's a phone number or something, and you're like, service of what? Well, I don't even know what you do. They don't even educate you that much.
They don't even are you a law firm? Do you sell sausages? What do you do? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you have no clue, which is crazy.
I'll tell you something though. I for all of its failings, and we won't get into those, but I was in Florida, and they do print advertising well there. There's a giant poster: "Injured? Call me. I'll get you money." Like, it's so in your face and just straightforward. And like, I look at the ad and I go, I know what's going on now.
Right. But the problem there is that all the businesses do the exact same thing. So every lawyer has the same structure. So if you look at, business to business to business to business, and all in the same sector, and if every lawyer is saying the same thing, which one do you pick? How do you know? And the problem is they're not doing themselves any favors. So because everyone looks the same, what ends up happening is everyone starts competing on price. And if you just drop your prices, everyone starts dropping, it's a race to zero. Your entire industry slowly dies in the hole. Your margins go to crap, right? and then like, oh, let's advertise more, and that doesn't do anything because then you're just dropping your prices more. So it's costing you more to get more clients. You're getting less out of them because you're dropping your prices to fight with the next guy. And everyone goes, well, you're all the same. No, but we're not.
Right. So in my idiot notes here that you've sent me, helpfully, because I'm an idiot, we have the word strategic versus tactical, and I really want to know what that means.
So strategic versus tactical, marketing strategy is what you say and how you say it. And I'll say it again. It's what you say and how you say it. The tactical side is what you do it on. Do you have a website? Do you have a YouTube ad? Do you have a TikTok ad? It doesn't really matter what medium you use. The strategic element of what you say and how you say it is more important than what element you use, right? So there's these people who have these really fancy presentations, fancy presentations. We're going to an event, and I outsold them like something ridiculous, like 40-1. And I had a pen and a napkin. And they're like, what the hell? Like, and it's because how you say it is much, and what you say is more important. So I'll give you the example. So this was in the hell was we doing? We were doing financial services. And the guy up on stage had the worst presentation I've ever seen in my entire life. He pulled open, of all things, not even a PowerPoint, an Excel spreadsheet. So it's a bunch of tiny ass numbers on screen. All the people in the audience are old. They're just sitting there squinting. They're like, I don't know what the hell that says, but that guy looks important. And he turns around and you see the back of his head while he's reading the spreadsheet to these people. And I'm like, this is the worst pitch I've ever seen, ever. And so we're both in the same industry. We both want to help people figure out their finances. My offer was real simple. Give me 15 minutes. I'll save you a couple grand in tax. And I had the whole damn room coming to my table going, do me next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everyone was still staring at this one guy. And he's like, and we do the following services. And he just listed off all the services on his spreadsheet of all things. And this is like a garbage can that's on fire whilst in a flood. You're just watching the garbage can on fire floating by. It's still on fire. Everything else is flooded. And like, it doesn't get any worse than this. And so you can beat people with the fancy ads if your ad says something of more of value than their ad says, right? And you got to be able to do that in a short amount of time, because people's attention spans aren't what they used to be. You used to be able to pitch people for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Could you imagine sitting there watching some terrible pitch for 20 minutes? No. Not this
I'm sorry. I drifted off there. I was like, what were you saying?
There you go. I can't believe it. 20 minutes? Are you kidding me? If you don't hook my attention in the first 3 seconds, you already lost me, right? So, and it's terrible. People talk about the attention span of a goldfish, right? Being small. Like human beings now have a shorter attention, thanks TikTok, of a smaller attention span than a goldfish. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed in my own attention span.
Kids, you think kids who are like chopped up on sugar and terrible things, who are like looking 6 different directions at the same time, have a bad attention span? Their attention span is on average better than adults, which is horrific.
This is not good. We could go on about that, but so what is it? Why is it important to know the difference between strategic and mechanical, strategic and tactical for a small business owner?
Because people blame the tactic. They go, oh yeah, we did an ad on Spotify. It totally didn't work. Spotify ads don't work. Oh, we did an ad on LinkedIn. Didn't work. LinkedIn ads don't work. It's not the thing. It's the thing that sells the thing, right? So what did your ad say? If your ad said quality and service and, Johnson since 1929, and I still don't know what the hell you do.
Yeah.
I don't care if you put it on a blimp and have the blimp bump into my house.
So you're saying people go, oh, we should advertise on YouTube, and the business owner goes, we advertised on YouTube already, and it cost us $20,000, and no one phoned us. Right. And they're shocked and appalled. And like, did you have the phone number in the ad? No. Well, yeah. Right. Yeah. It's getting to be that bad. It's just like, yeah. So like, there's people out there who spend money on billboards. Billboards are not cheap, right? And look at this billboard going, Johnson's 1929. Here's the phone number. And I have no idea who they are, what they do, or how they can help me, right? And a lot of marketing these days is also, we were just talking about F-up nights, right? Yeah. And so
a lot of marketing is, look how great our company is. We've won this many awards. We've been in this many things, da 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 da. We've been mentioned in Forbes, as seen on, Inc. 500. And if it still says Johnson's 1929, I still have no idea who you are and what you do, other than your name is Johnson's and you started since 1929.
Yeah, and you want awards. What do you do?
Yeah, but like marketing shouldn't be about the company. Like it should be about the client, right? And this was clearly evident in the switch to the infomercials. So infomercials, like the whole slices and dices of big French fries in 3 different ways.
Yeah.
The guy who did the rotisserie chicken infomercial changed the world for everybody, because he made the rotisserie chicken infomercial about the rotisserie chicken machine and told people how that machine would change your life and make it better and make dinner more delicious for the customer. Not that we have 87 cogs in our wheel that make it spin at 17 miles an hour. I don't even know how fast the chicken spins, but like nobody cares how fast the chicken spins. People just care that, hey, it's dinner. It's more nutritious because look at all the fat that drips off the damn thing.
Yeah.
Right. And it's delicious. Hear the crunch of the skin, and everyone's like, "Oh, crispy chicken skin."
Well, the problem is that now I'm picturing a rotisserie chicken just rolling down the street and wondering what kind of speed it gets.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a problem with my attention span. So
what's the miles per hour? But there's a math question. There's 2 rotisserie chickens spinning down the street. One of them's going.
Yeah. So what you're saying, like, so that guy was the rotisserie chicken, like you're talking about the machine that rotisserated said chicken, right?
That's the new word of the day,
rotisserated. And so he went on with an infomercial where he didn't say it's a great machine. He said, look how much better, he's like, your life is awful. And if you had a rotisserated chicken, boy, life would be great. My God.
Doesn't this look delicious? Don't you think your husband would love you more? Like this is like old, right? So they can still get away with some of this stuff. And so obviously the sexist comments going, yeah, this is how to be a good wife. If you don't have one of these things, you're not a good wife. And it's like, obviously terrible in today's day and age. But I mean, at least the commercial talked about what it was for the client versus how great the company was, right?
Right.
Good marketing shouldn't tell the client how smart you are, right? Like, great marketing makes the client feel smarter, right? Now they're educated, they can make their buying decision based on this. That's what great marketing does. It makes the client feel smarter. They go, thank you for the lesson, thank you for the information. Now if I'm in the buying process, you just helped me in that buying process. I will buy your rotisserie chicken. I will buy the sausages from Johnson's 1929 because I finally know what the hell they are and what they do, right? Or maybe they might be a law firm for all we know. Who knows?
Or a sausage law firm. So, okay. So now, as far as what the ad says, I think what we're talking about there is the conversion equation, right? Like that's what you want to put right in the ad. And the conversion equation is, drum roll, please.
The conversion equation, there's 2 little bits to this thing. So there's the 2-parter and the 4-parter. So the 2-parter is, in a conversion equation, you want to start off with, there's only 2 kinds of people, okay? There's the people who will chase after the carrot and the people who will run away from the stick. 80-20 rule. 80% of people will run away from the stick faster than they'll go after the carrot. Right? You can dangle the carrot in front of some people and they just won't get off the couch. The moment you show them the stick, they're like, oh crap, he's got a stick, run. Right? So because it's the 80-20 rule, you want to start off with the problem that they have, but they don't want. So if you can show them the problem that they have that they don't want, they go, yes, I self-identify. I have that problem. I'm hungry. I'm bald. I'm whatever. I need that product or service.
My chicken isn't getting enough miles per gallon on the road.
Correct. Yeah. I'm using fire to rotisserie my chicken. How do you make yours? Right. So it burns all the damn time. So then the other piece is the carrot, and it's the solution that they want, but they don't have. And if you put both together, you nail 100% of them who are ready to buy stuff. Right. So there's the problem you have, but you don't want, and then the solution that you want, but you don't have. right? The funny thing is they're both, almost FOMO-ish, right? The fear of missing out, right? It's like, oh, there's a solution to my problem. Oh, there's a problem I don't have to deal with no more. That sounds great.
Mhm.
And then you package it in this framework, and the framework is interrupt. So you have to interrupt because, in this day and age, we're bombarded with stuff. If you're not interrupting things, nothing's going to happen.
Mhm.
Then you have to engage with them, right? And that's the engagement. This is the problem that they have, solution that they want. So there's your interrupt, engage. Then you have to educate them, teach them something. That did you know that you can use a rotisserie thingy and the fat drips off, and then you eat less fat and you're healthier. Cool. People like that. And then the last piece is the call to action. Hey, if you want your ticket to be more rotisserie, click this button to buy now or call this number and we'll ship you one. But wait, there's more. If you call right away, we'll ship you two, right? So that way,
that's the icing on the cake. I'll tell you, there was a great interrupt that I ran into the other day. My girlfriend and I were watching TV, and it was the commercials.
Yeah.
And we're both on our phones, scrolling away, doing whatever. And the TV goes silent. And we both stop what we're doing and look up at the TV, go, why the hell has the TV been silent for so long? And it was an ad where they, I think it was a car ad, and they had a deaf race car driver was signing his endorsement of this car. And,
yes,
so they had some kind of pun in there about not having to hear it to know it's great or something like that. But we're so bombarded with messages that peace and quiet actually interrupted our thinking process and made us go, what the hell's happening on the TV?
That's crazy.
Right.
There's a guy by the name of Ray William Johnson who I'm a big fan of, and his stuff is hilarious.
Mhm.
And there was this person who signed up to be a sign language interpreter at the police station. Turns out she didn't know anything. And she was just waving her hands, and they couldn't arrest her because technically it's not illegal to lie in your resume. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's one of my favorite stories. I love it because it's so incomprehensible to me. And I read somewhere that she got arrested, and I'm like, arrested for what? Like, I understand if you say you can do sign language and they pay you, it's fraudulent. But I think she just volunteered. I think she just, hey, I'll do the sign language. They're like, okay, great, do the sign language. That's awesome. And the guy just did his thing. I don't think she asked for any money. She didn't get hired by them. She just showed up at this press conference and said she'd do the sign language. So it's like, what? It's a bad thing, but it's like, is it a crime? Like, what's the crime there? I don't know.
You can't fault a volunteer for sucking, right? So it's just yes.
And so it's just so incomprehensible to me what the motives of this woman would have been. But anyway, I could go on. That's one of my favorite stories. I love that story so much.
Well, life is definitely interesting for sure. Yeah. So there you go.
Let's go through that conversion equation again. So interrupt
is
just something that gets attention.
No, the interrupt is helping them self-identify what the problem is in themselves. So the problem that they have that they don't want.
Okay, problem that you have you don't want. Engage.
And the engage is the solution that they want, but they don't have.
Okay, so then what's educate?
Educate is teach them something about your stuff. Other than Johnson's 1929. And it can't be the words quality or service. You got to actually talk about, so in one of the previous episodes, we talked about the guy who sells doors and windows. And he thought everybody loved him because his doors and windows were made of the best stuff. Nobody cared about the stuff. They just cared that he showed up on time.
Right.
Yeah. So the education point would be, do you have any idea how much money is burnt on home renovation projects because the plumber and electrician are sitting there twiddling the thumbs because there's no windows, right? The door's not installed, electrician can't do that because everything will fry or something bad will happen if there's no door, right? Like, oh, look, it's a blizzard outside. We're going to do electrical right now. Right. How else is going to burn down?
Okay. So interrupt is, here's your problem, or got this problem.
Yep.
Kind of thing. Got problem. There you go.
Yes.
There's an ad, got problem. People are like, yes, I do. I have so many. Please. You probably just sell them anything after that. So got problem. Yep. I do. Here is solution. Fabulous. And then it's like, is it sort of like how that solution works or why we have that solution, or like, are you educating on the solution particularly?
Educate on the solution, educate on why it's important, and make sure it's customer centric. Do not try to show the world how big your PP is as a company. You want to make it customer centric. So here's an example. There's a daycare, right? There's a daycare. Who are you going to sell, mom or dad? Dad doesn't care.
Yeah. I mean,
Dad doesn't care. Dad's like, hey, are you bleeding? Is it from the head? Oh, you're fine.
Right.
Walk it off. Mom, no, she's the one who'll take care of the baby, right? So mom needs to know that the daycare is accountable. So problems that you have but you don't want, I need childcare, right? Solution, hey, we're a daycare, education moment is, did you know that our daycare has 24/7 camera surveillance, so that anytime you want, you can hop off the highway, whip open your iPad and go see your kid. If you're having a bad day, you can stop, go see your kid playing, be happy, knowing that they're warm, they're safe, they're taken care of, and they're well fed, and then go back to your day, realizing that, you know what, everything's going to be all right. That is an education moment. That's going to sell mom. She's going to be like, oh yes, I want these things. Right. And how much are a couple of webcams? Like a couple of bucks, right? And this is what differentiated that one daycare from all the other daycares. They were the first to do it.
I feel like you're speaking from experience here.
So yeah, absolutely. So that daycare is always full now. And then all of a sudden every other daycare copied them. Right.
Yeah.
But by the time the other ones copied them, they had another offering. It's like, have your kid learn to read at the grade 2 level before they get out of kindergarten. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So there's your education piece, right? Like what makes you different? What makes you better?
Okay. And then we go into offer.
And then the offer better not be Sex in the Bahamas. Right? We were talking about Flowers Before Sex in the Bahamas. Don't sell them Sex in the Bahamas. Don't sell them, hey, buy it now. Give them further information by which you can then essentially brainwash your customers into coming to buy more stuff from you, right? Because if they're not ready to buy right this minute, having a buy now button just alienates like 80% of the population. Like 80% of the people who, that's really interesting.
Right.
I don't have a child, but if I did, I would totally bring this to, oh my gosh, right? Like that sounds really good. If instead you said, here are 10 facts that you should know before putting your child into childcare, right? Like, maybe we should have a map of where all the bad people are, right? People who just got released from prison. And maybe we should know, hey, the childcare place is here and the bad guy lives, 2 houses down. Maybe we shouldn't pick that one, right? So like that would be information that would really be crazy as an offer.
Right. Okay. So, but that sort of depends a little bit on the business though, right? Because some businesses, it's a more of a relationship-based business. Some of them you can just say buy straight away. Like the rotisserie chicken, it'd be like the offer is buy it right away, and then they'll throw in the like 3 easy payments or whatever.
Yes.
Right. So that's their offer, but their offer is buy now. But sometimes the offer's got to be get a free booklet about how to rotisserie a chicken or whatever.
Yeah, but what if I gave you a free booklet? Click this button right here to get 10 excellent recipes, so that when you do decide to buy the chicken rotisserie, right, you can have 10 excellent different recipes to impress your guests with. Now, if I'm ready to buy or I'm not ready to buy, I still want the damn recipe book, right?
Right.
Now, all the recipe book does is, number one, because I'm now trading my email for it or trading my phone number for it.
Yeah.
I can now follow up with these people to sell them the chicken rotisserie. Right? So
okay.
So instead of making the one sale out of 10 people, 10 people or 7 people might say, yes, I want the free recipe book. And now you got 7 chances to make a sale versus 1.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, so you're capturing more of the market in terms of your email list you have now.
Email list, SMS list, carrier pigeon, I don't care. Right.
It would have been a mailing list at the time of the original rotisserie chicken.
Right. But I'm getting more chances to sell. If I just go for the jugular right away and I miss, right, the game is over. Whereas if I give them something in exchange for their contact information and they're giving me permission to mail them or email them or SMS them or whatever, right? Now I've got multiple chances, and people are forgetful. We just talked about, humans having a really crap attention span, right? So the attention span goes whoop and it's over, right? Even if they had full intention to buy things, which happens all the time, to me especially, like, I'm about to buy something, I'm still doing the scroll on the phone, there's the dog does something funny, I completely forget, and then look back and I go, what was I doing again? And I lost the tab in my sea of tabs, and it's over. I don't buy the thing, right?
Yeah.
But if they had gotten my email, or pixeled me, and in this day and age, pixeled me on the Facebook or whatever, then they could retarget me. They could hit me again. Go, hey, do you remember that thing that we showed you that you really wanted, but you forgot because the dog did the funny thing? Right? Yeah, exactly. Right. So,
Yeah.
Literally, I can remember. Here's the terrible part. This literally happened to me because I literally saw. And it's on my Facebook feed right now. There's a bunch of pictures of dogs that ate bees, and so they're all swollen.
You showed
like, sad. And like all sad looking and swollen. And I swear to you, I was about to buy something. I see the stupid bee dog thing. I completely forget what the hell I was doing because it's the saddest thing you've ever seen. This is a dog looking all sad because he got stung on him in the mouth. But I remember the dogs. I honestly don't remember what I was about to buy. This happened.
If someone had put ads on the foreheads of the dogs, we might have gotten somewhere.
There you go.
So okay, hang on. I got a question about the interrupt. This is my idiot question. So,
sure.
Interrupt is you announce the problem that they have and don't want in a way that they go, "Hey, that's me. I've got that problem." Now, in that problem, should you be differentiating yourself from your competitors there, or just trying to focus? Like, okay, so the rotisserator chicken thing. I'm obsessed with this. I want some chicken now. I'm picturing it in my head. So should they be like, other ways to cook chicken suck? Like the cooking chicken in the oven is awful, or they're focusing on more like, are you not having good meals at home? It's because it's sexist at the time. Is your husband angry at you for making lousy food?
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's just pure self-identification. That's all you need to do. You need to explain their problem to them better than they can explain it to you. Right? Did you ever have guests over for dinner and they're disappointed in what you made? Right? Like that hits home hard, right? Now, does it matter what you sell them after that? I can sell you a blender after that. Right? It doesn't really matter, right? There was this one release. Okay, let's talk about sexist headlines. Don't lose your man to the skinny bitch from The Office. Ooh, that hits hard. What are you selling after that? Are you selling a stationary bike? Are you selling a Stairmaster? Are you selling a Thighmaster? Are you selling that stupid shake weight thing? Are you selling, I could sell anything after that. Because that is a show-stopping interruption line, right? You throw one of those down, that is an interrupt. Everyone goes, you hear the actual, you hear the
record scratch.
What happened? The record scratch kicks you in the face. And you're like, I'm paying attention now. That's the point of it. Because if it doesn't record scratch, if it doesn't stop the scroll, you could tell me how good you are compared to everybody else and compare yourself to all the competitors. I'm not paying attention. I'm not ready to receive that information yet until you stop me dead in my tracks. So notice how the chicken rotisserie headline could sell a blender, it could sell an oven, it could sell a fridge.
Right. So, but let's say that now that you've had success with your rotisserator, other companies are now selling rotisserie machines, and now down at the Canadian Tire, we'll say, because we're Canadian, they sell 8 different rotisserie machines. Do you keep the interrupt still? Like, want to have a good meal, or want to impress your guests, or tired of your guests being mad at you, or do you now say like
as long as it still works? The whole point of an interrupt is it's got to interrupt. If everyone's using the same interrupt, it no longer works, and that's where you hit this thing called ad fatigue. So when you see the same thing over and over and over, and it no longer stops you in your tracks, and the click-through rate goes down and the impression rate goes down, now you have to switch it up and figure out another interrupt.
Okay, but the interrupt is always related to the customer's problem.
Absolutely.
So, like, let's take the door.
Like the weight one, right? Like we have the chicken rotisserie one and the skinny office bitch one. It's the same thing. Hey, did you stop fitting in your pants? Cool.
Yeah.
Right. The chicken rotisserie thing rips the fat. You'll fit in your pants. The Stairmaster, Thighmaster, whatever, skinny bitch one, you'll fit in your pants. Right. So it's the same angle of attack. Would you like to fit in your pants? Right.
Right.
You have a problem with your pants shrinking. Yes.
Sell them a dryer that doesn't shrink the pants. Now you've got it down here as well. We're just coming to the end here, but let's try to get an internal versus external perspective. What's that?
So internal versus external is what is actually happening within your company versus how do other people from the outside perceive you, right? So you could be the best rotisserie in the world, right?
Mhm.
But if you don't talk about it and the internal and the external don't match, right? It's perception is reality. Perception is everything. So if the perception doesn't match, you're not going to get the result that you want. So that internal versus external perspective has to be equal. How you see yourself. So there could be a cabinet maker from France. I'm just making some stuff up here.
I'm sure there's a cabinet maker in France.
Yeah. And what was that wood that was talked about in like Hunger Games? Like that is, I can't remember now. But there's a special fancy wood, and they're especially they make all their cabinets out of this special fancy wood, right? And there's some other guy who makes out of the plywood, right? Or particle board, and it falls apart if you make it wet, right? But if you're both cabinet makers and there's no differentiation between the internal and external perspectives of the client, they go, a cabinet's a cabinet, right? Who cares, right? But unless you show them that this is made from the south of France, of the greatest wood in the universe, then no one's going to know the difference between the internal and the external perspective, right? And then once you match that stuff, let's go back to the door guys, because we're talking about wood, right? Door guy internally thought everybody likes the door because of the material. Externally, everybody liked it because it was on time. Which way should you sell it? Material or we're always on time? Obviously.
Yeah, whatever.
Now that on time thing, be it external perspective, is still internally, because he really is truly always on time. He just never flaunted that fact.
Right. So yeah, business owners get some idea, get a bee in their bonnet about what the customer is going to like, but the customers actually like something else.
Right. And if the internal and external do not match, then you're not going to be able to get your message across. So these are important things. Strategic versus tactical is what you say and how you say it versus what you say it on. Internal and external is how you see yourselves and how the customer sees you. And if those don't match, your messaging sucks. Fix it.
Beautiful. I think we're coming to the end of the show here. Do we have time to squeeze in a hack of the week? Have you got something?
Hack of the week. So here's the hack of the week. It's real simple.
Right.
Whatever industry you're in, open up Google Maps, type in your industry, type in your city, and go look at the top 10 sites. And after you're done weeping, because everyone looks the same as yours, right? Go use the conversion equation to change yours to make yours more interesting than all the other guys, because they're still looking at the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, the brand builder. They think a logo, a jingle, a funny little word, and I'm on a horse is going to sell more stuff. Clearly it does not. So there you go. So Google look at Maps. The top 10 sites in your area. Just go to Google Maps, type in, you'll find all your competitors after you're done weeping, because I pretty much guarantee it, all of your websites are the same. And people go, no, Earl, I'm special. Our website's pretty. My baby is pretty. My baby is not ugly. I show them everybody else's baby. They're like, oh my God, all the babies look the same. And this is how mixed up hospitals happen. So yeah.
I noticed that. I noticed that as a good.
I've seen people bite other people's clients because it went from like Mr. Lube to Jiffy Lube to Mrs. Lube. Right? And yeah, man, they'll sue you for that now, right? But because people can make something that looks very similar to your brand and your structure, man, they'll steal your clients if you don't differentiate.
Brilliant. Well, I definitely feel like, I mean, I've heard the conversion equation before, but I think I got more out of it this time since you're such a superhero. And I was able to ask the dumb questions. That's why I got to ask the dumb questions. That's why we got the show.
Absolutely. And that's why it's the Captain America hat today, because America.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a whole nother show, I think. Now, here's the important question. Did you queue up the outro as well?
I do have the outro.
Oh my gosh.
It's ready.
Cool.
Oh, hang on 2 seconds.
Okay, to warn me before you're gonna do
it. I just gotta get it ready here. I'm gonna queue up the outro. I am gonna share advanced sharing. There we go. I'm gonna pick the audio, and eventually I'll get at this. I actually bought a stream deck just for this. So here we go. Here's the outro.
Okay, hang on, I gotta say goodbye first.
Oh, sorry.
No,
go ahead.
Earl, thanks so much thanks everyone for joining us. You have a great week, and thanks. Bye.
We're gonna get better at this, I swear.
We're gonna get better at this. I was about to say all the things that are in the outro, and I'm like, no, we have the outro covering that now. I don't have to say those things. So thank you, Earl. You have a great week. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Cheers, Dan. Here you go.
Thanks for listening to Earl and the Idiot. We hope you learned something you can take action on this week. For more information or to contact the show, visit earlandtheidiot.com. And until next time, remember what Shakespeare said. The fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool.